He should get you
He'll
water.
just say, I mean, he'll ask if you would like one. Then the jury's out on if he'll actually give you one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mouth's on fire. What do you think?
Can I have milk? Milk, please. Milk will take care of it.
Yeah, you just look at him like you are an asshole in real life.
Yeah. All right, so I guess we are done talking basketball. We can move on to the NHL playoffs.
Milk was a bad idea.
Milk was a bad idea. So do you want to start in the East or the West? Do you want to start with the one that's still going or the one that's done?
How about the West?
Let's do the West just to get it out of the way.
All right, how the West was won.
Woo!
For those of you
West
that...
was won by Fleury. Oh my God.
He is an animal.
Flower power to the extreme.
And to quite fairness, it was him, and it was primarily the first line with Marcia Shaw, Carlson, Neal.
Gave it to Scheifele.
Oh yeah, they did.
So
what was the face-off percentage for the first line? I think the Golden Knights had like a 70% face-off win on the first line.
Yeah, their first line dominated. Their first line played incredible. It was an entertaining series. Every game was close, very close. Yeah. There was no blowout in any of that series. It was just, and quite frankly, I'm surprised that the Knights won some of those games because in the third quarter they looked like
it was blurry. The third period, multiple times the Jets were, had the momentum and looked like they would score at any time, and then Fleury just straight up robbed them.
I mean, some of the saves he made in those third periods were incredible.
Absolutely.
I mean, that one where he had to go one way, stop, and then he had to dive full body out in front of I believe it was game 3 maybe, where he just full on extended out. And it was like, the guy had to be looking like, holy crap, the net's empty. I'm scoring for sure here.
Yeah, after a few of those just backbreakers, I think the Jets just really lost their confidence. They just looked in Game 5, even though they were only a goal down, in the last 10 minutes, they looked like they were done already. Like they looked like they just had no hope of scoring, of getting it past Fleury.
I mean, I'm 100% with you. I mean, I watched as much as I could, which was most of the games, and every game, but most of the entirety of the games. And the other thing that I think was crippling to the Jets in talking about their momentum was, it seemed like every time that they would score, Vegas within minute or 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, would answer right back.
That does tend to happen in hockey, but it should not happen that frequently, especially in playoffs. Like, you've got to be able to recognize that they're going to give a huge push right after you score, and you need to not sit on your laurels. And they were really not. It seemed like once they beat the Predators, they thought that they were a shoo-in to beat Vegas, and a lot of people were saying that they were going to beat Vegas in 6 games. But what did I say the last time we were on the podcast? I said Vegas goaltending. I think that makes them the team to beat, and here we are. And going into this, I think whoever wins in the East, it's still going to be the same thing. If Fleury is playing as lights out as he has been, it's going to be almost impossible for anybody to step up to Vegas.
Okay. Yes, that Fleury was a big part, but you can't overlook the fact that everyone before they went to play in Vegas was just drunk because you're in Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So I just want to say, NHL playoffs, the notes that I have written down for this: Vegas defeats Winnipeg 4-1. Team of misfits gets it done. Because that's what they are. They're the ones that the team didn't protect.
That's what they're priding themselves on, too. They got a chip on their shoulder. So, it's going to be tough for anyone to take that away from them.
Yeah, and this is the first time since 1967-68 St. Louis Blues that an expansion team in any of the 4 major sports made it to the championship.
Yeah, now, I got to say, as good as it is for the sport for an expansion team to win a championship their first year and, gain a whole city's love and adoration. Fuck that. I do not want them to win. They don't deserve it. Their first year as a bitter Rangers fan. I don't want it.
Boo, Wendy, boo!
You're just saying that because you want the Lightning to win it?
Well, that too. I do want that extra first-round pick.
So, I don't know.
I think the Caps have their number.
I don't want the Cap... If it comes down to Lightning and... If it comes down to Lightning and the Knights, which we know it's the Knights, I'll be fine with whatever happens. I mean, I prefer to see the Lightning win, but if the Knights win, good for them.
I'm not really gonna be a hater. I'm just messing with them mostly. It's pretty awesome. It's a Cinderella story. They've got the whole, the whole Vegas tragedy earlier in the year that they're fighting for as well. Fighting to bring the city together in a lot of ways. So honestly, good for them.
They're also showing the rest of the sports world, Major League Baseball, NBA, NFL, that a team can thrive in Vegas.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when the Raiders come...
Did you say that they were the only expansion team to make the finals other than the Blues?
Since the 67-68 Blues.
There's an asterisk with that. All of the expansion teams that year were in the Western Conference. So the Western Conference had to be won by an expansion team. Okay. So there was no way an expansion team wasn't going to make the finals that year. So that's bullshit.
It's not. It's literally a fact.
I understand, but that comes with and by the way, one of them had to play.
Well, you don't want them to do what the Blues did and then, get to the finals and then just lose it. What was it? I think 3 years in a row, and then they've never been back since.
In Fleury, I trust. As long as that animal is in there.
Don't wave the Blues.
As long as that animal's in there, I'm fine. And Marchessault playing pissed off. It seems like that's all that needs to happen. If he gets ticked off, he's just going to launch a couple pucks in at goal. Something will hit the back.
That's a good point. So 500 to 1. 500 to 1.
I'm just sorry I didn't put money on it over the summer.
Right? Were the odds
Yeah.
of the Golden Knights winning the Stanley Cup Finals?
It's convenient that, they started 500 to 1 and now sports betting is going to be legal everywhere else.
It's because of them. That's what happened.
This might have been the plan the whole time.
I just find it funny with the sports betting. The NFL's like, no, NFL and MLB are like, no, gambling is bad for the sport. But now the NFL's like, but we want a cut. So
yeah, I think if you put like $20 or something, you'd come out with like 500. So I guess note to self for any future expansion teams, might as well throw a 20 at it.
No, isn't it? It's 500 1. So for every $1 you bet, you get 500 back. Yeah. So if you put 20 on it, you get $10,000.
Oh, was it really 500 to 1? I thought it was like...
No, when they first start the season, when the first hockey lines came out, it was 500 to 1. And then, right after, I think was once they got through the preseason and all of that, they start, the beginning of the season was 200 to 1. And then, as it kept going, it progressively got less. Once they swept the first round of the playoffs, they're like, they're tied for the first ones. 2 to 1 odds.
We get it. You bet $1, you owe us 3 more.
Yeah. It was so bad that Caesars was giving out free $1 bets on it was like free $5 or $10 bets if you went to Caesars on a Tuesday, because no one's going gambling on Tuesday except for a bunch of degenerates.
And Pete Rose.
What else is he doing?
Sitting there by the phone waiting for the Hall of Fame call.
Yeah, have you seen the meme where he's he's got that huge smile on his face and it says, that face you make when sports betting's now legal?
Yeah, but it's always going to be frowned upon when you bet on your own sport.
Whatever.
Especially when you bet on your own team.
We had this conversation again. Yeah, I understand the betting on the whole team thing. This is where I drew the line. I think you can bet on your own sport, but you cannot bet on a game that you can actually influence. That's where the line gets drawn. If you have some influence in the outcome of the game, you're not allowed to bet it. I don't care if you bet a game that's in Seattle and you play in New York.
Although, how awesome would it have been, like back in the late 80s, early 90s, to be at a boxing match and hear Mike Tyson take one and say, I bet $300 on myself that I'm going to win this.
And then he goes and bites Holyfield's ear.
Yeah. It's a puss. I get my money back.
Is that the FIFA Cup commercial that they had?
I mean, I don't know why you can't bet on your own team. I feel like you should be able to do that.
Well, because you won't be able to know. There's going to be no traceable way to see if you bet against your team. Like, could you imagine Derek Jeter? Like, yeah, I got $500,000 that we don't win more than 30 games this year. He can influence that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you have to just make it so that if you're betting on your own thing, that you have to, I don't know, do it at a special location as for professional athletes, and you get monitored.
I mean, if the league wants their cut, the league can have their cut there. Okay? You can set up your own in-house betting for your players, and you can take a cut of that. You want a cut of anything else? F you, as far as integrity. You have a hard time with that on your own.
Yeah, but the issue is, let's say, I'm just gonna use myself as an example. I'm a professional football player. You three, you're part of my entourage. Dan Beebe, I really want to put. I don't think we're gonna win. I think we're gonna get crushed. Can you take and put $10,000 on the Bills to beat us? What's going to stop that?
Yeah.
Want in one hand, shit in the other. Tell me what fills up faster.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, but what's stopping that now, really?
That's true. I mean, there's no way that that's not happening currently. I mean, I just think maybe it's not happening, but I feel like that's naive to believe that way. Like, I don't know.
I think that...
That's like people believing that politicians are working for the people.
What?
Like, come on, grow up. Be an adult.
The best example of politics being as shady as you think it might be, Dan O'Shea and I, we did the New York State Assembly internship back in 2013. One of the first things that happened when we got to the internship was the passage of the SAFE Act. Now, regardless of what you believe with the SAFE Act, what really stood out to me is how Sheldon Silver basically left Joe Lenthal out to die debating that bill. Sheldon Silver didn't even show up for the debate, and it was his bill. Joe Lenthal had to basically just go out there and continue to say, well, we don't know that. So that's the kind of crap that goes on in politics. And
then Silver got nailed for corruption. So,
and then there's that.
As did what's his face on the
Skelos.
Skelos, yeah.
And
so
his
both
son.
sides.
Yep.
Welcome to New York. What do you mean you want to leave?
Anyways, so
No,
Vegas, behind the brilliant defense, gets past the Winnipeg Jets. 4-1. Now let's move on to the East. We're watching a great series.
The East is fun. The East is fun. It's a great series, 7 games. I mean, the Lightning always require 7 games when they get to the conference final. But Ovi has been playing out of his mind. I think he knows, this might be his only shot at the Cup. And the Tampa Bay Rangers have put together some good series and some good games and some not so good games. Interesting to watch and see what they can keep up.
Yeah. So I think this is probably going to be the last shot that Ovechkin has And honestly, I think after this season, if they don't win the Stanley Cup, he's going to go to a place where he'll definitely win one.